6:10, 2 members present.
I've read the minutes and I accept them. I make a motion that we accept the minutes.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Get that ACOP document. This is it, correct?
Yeah.
You read that over?
Yep. I have no problem. Blue ink? You got blue ink, John.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
This is the emergency report, Form 1, is required in our ACOP at DEP, and it just, it's a notification, a certification form. It's as to the facts as we know them. It's available upon request for public review. I make a motion that we accept this.
Second. Okay.
Aye. So we'll sign this.
Peter, yeah, he's coming.
Today's date is 4/23.
Hey, Peter.
You gotta sign that.
That's it.
I got blue.
Oh, I thought
Just underneath, all right?
Right to the left side of me.
Okay. You get the,
Well, we just have to have you sign the emergency, response plan. It's all completed and ready to go.
Okay, so we got 3 copies.
Well, we got 10, but I want, originals have to go to DEP, one to the selectmen and one for our office.
Yeah.
And I'll make copies of your signatures and everybody else's. So you need to sign here, and then we need to sign in the back.
We're at, okay. I've gone through this. Did you get a chance to go through them a little bit?
not completely.
Well,
Yeah.
John went through it, and John, do you have anything
Yes.
everything looked good with this? And Laura, of course, you've been through it quite
Oh,
a few
yeah.
times. And then Weston and Sampson
They went through it.
went through it, and they revised, did a lot of revisions, updated it, so to speak.
People mostly,
Yep.
and
And,
locations.
So I make a motion that we accept the emergency response plan. Raleigh Water Department, PWSID 3254000. It was updated April 2013.
Second.
Aye.
And then just on the, these are on the tab and they're on. Just on the, back. Okay, and, right here, just gonna print your name and click both of you for this. So I'm not sure who was gonna sign that.
Checklist. You got the ones, and then you'll get yours.
Would you pass that next time, Mike?
So there's
sign underneath, Tim. All right, so this one goes on more, and then I'll make copies. Okay, that was done. I know, this paperwork. All right. One more, and then we'll be done.
Print name of responsible party. Is the same form we just signed?
Yes, similar. That's just the checklist. That tells where everything is in the book, Tim, so if somebody needed to find something in an emergency,
Yeah.
they go to that form.
So shouldn't it see print name of responsible party? Shouldn't that be the town of Raleigh?
No, it's you. I'll cross that out. It's you.
The title would be
Board.
Board of Water Commissioners, and the signature. How do we do the other ones?
Yeah, I'll cross that out too, because we weren't sure if John was gonna sign it or you. So, responsible party signature, and I'll just write your names and then Board of Water Commissioners. Okay, done. Yep, you're all done.
With the legal aid notice for the rate meeting.
Waste of time.
Annual quality report, the legal ad, where's that?
So that's in your packet and that's ready to go. That's approved by DEP. That's in your packet. Yeah.
Where is the
Is it in there, John? Did I miss it?
well, legal ad notice for rate meeting.
Oh, okay.
Where's that?
That's in the packet.
Residents of town of Raleigh, please note the Board of Water Commissioners will hold a public informational meeting on Tuesday, May 21st, 2013 at 7 p.m. in the meeting room of the Town Hall, 139 Main Street, to consider amendments to Article 8, Section 2 of the Water Department regulations of the Town of Raleigh to change the water rates effective July 1st, 2013 as follows. Tier 1, 0 to 4,000 gallons in the month is 14.91. Tier 2 is after the 4,000 gallons on a monthly basis to 36,000 gallons on a monthly basis, 17.91 per 1,000 gallons. Let me add to that. Tier 3, 36,000 and up, 19.91 dollars per 1,000 gallons. You should kind of make this clear that it's per 1,000 gallons.
I can add that.
Can you just do like maybe a
Sure.
division sign and 1,000 gallons?
Sure.
Put it like that, Laura, we got the,
Okay.
get the fleet center. Roy, you wanna take a look at that?
Okay.
Make a motion to accept that as an ad and put into the, where we gonna put this in?
The town common.
Town common? Second,
I'll second.
all in favor? Aye. You wanna take this, John, or make sure that that change takes place? Fourth is select the treatment plant exterior colors. Barbara, what do you suggest?
Well, we kind of came to the conclusion that we liked selection A back there between what you, me, John Sikora, I don't know who else
Jamie,
who
I did.
had input, okay.
I walked in the door. put
So
that
I don't
on.
know if you want input on this or you want to come over. The blocks are a little heavy, so if I lifted them, it'd be one at a time over there. But basically, this, the A color scenario has a darker gray stripe in the building. Through here, you can see it, versus the B color scenario is kind of a white stripe. So it's not, this is a little more pronounced and looks a little more like this. That has a blue stripe, but, so. And it'll be mixed up, so the three different colors are shown here.
It's not much,
These
these two are the same.
So these two are the same, yeah.
So it's this combination versus this.
Yeah,
combination.
this A combination versus that B
I like
combination.
the contrast. What did you guys like?
We like the A too.
Okay.
So, okay,
How about you
good
guys?
to go.
Let's let the selectmen get it. Stab at this.
The finance committee, what would you like? I voted A. We voted A. We
Okay.
voted A. I asked her to- I
Excellent.
said if it's the same price, I'll go for it.
It's the same.
Right. A it is. A it is.
That'll look nice. Now, is that like a concrete product?
Yeah.
Boy, that looks pretty cool. What kind of a
So-
warranty do they have on that, Barbara?
I would have to check the spec. I don't know off the top of my head, so I think it's a pretty long duration.
And when
So
they put the bricks up, do they seal it up with a sealer after they put it up, or what?
I believe that already has a sealer built in on the outside, so you don't need to do that in addition.
Uh-huh.
So it's a sandwich wall construction. There'll be CMU, like concrete masonry units like you see behind you there on the inside.
This year?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then there's an air pocket essentially for insulation and also insulation, and then that goes on the very outside of
Wow.
the building, that blocks.
Okay.
Do we have to make a motion on that?
Sure.
Okay.
I make a motion that we accept Laura's decision on the color of the plan.
Yeah.
I'll second it. All in favor? Change orders, I guess.
Initial approval of change order number 5. What happened to change order number 4?
You approved that last time.
Okay.
But I sent you guys an email on that. It has to go to the Board of Selectmen for review,
Yeah,
and then it'll go back to us, for you guys to sign off.
Okay.
It's kind of the new process, so I sent you guys an email on that.
okay, so it goes down to the selectmen for,
So next week, we'll get change order 4 and 5 in there for review.
Well, 5 may not go, because
Right.
this is draft, so, but
Yeah.
definitely 4.
So we need to kind of get into the new process of getting everybody's approval.
So can you repeat that again? So they approve first, then it goes to Board of Selectmen, then it comes back to them?
No, once they
Okay.
approved, they approve.
Okay.
Of course, depending on what the selectmen, you know,
Right,
Yeah.
the selectmen could bring it back. to
they,
the-
yeah. the-
Laura, didn't you, 2 weeks ago, didn't you approve some change orders here?
We did.
We never, as of last night at our meeting, we have not got a copy of the
Yeah,
change
so
orders.
that's what the email, I assume, John, you'll go to the meeting, or Tim to the meeting. I wasn't sure how we're gonna move them to the selectmen. 'Cause I'm assuming it has to be on your agenda.
Yes,
so you need to get it down there with a request for Debbie to put it on our agenda for Monday night's meeting. Is there a meeting Monday night?
yes.
Okay.
We'll be busy, but we got the, to go over all the articles. We're gonna have a hearing upstairs, so people have a chance to come in and voice their opinions on all the articles. So we can cut down the discussion time, we're hoping, at a week from Monday night's town meeting.
Okay.
So we can fit that in, though. I mean, if you, sooner the better that we get them. Because you didn't have a meeting last week and brought up last night that we didn't get the change orders. So maybe what you do today, tonight meeting, would be a good idea to get it ASP to us. So we can get them approved, go over, whatever.
We need to go back to this ad.
Okay.
So, we're having a town meeting on what day?
The 6th.
We're gonna hold a meeting about the informational meeting on May 21st?
That's for your, informational for your water rate changes, right, Tim? I don't think has nothing to do with your town meeting article.
We were supposed to go to your meeting and talk about our rates, I think. So we're supposed to be advertising that we're gonna,
Well, Debbie wanted, originally we were gonna have the rate hearing before town meeting,
yeah,
but then there was a discussion with Debbie and the selectmen about if they change our budget, we'll change the rates. So we should do the rate hearing after town meeting approves our budget. So that's why we went to the
that's a
May.
hearing though.
So we can change, I guess maybe is. we'll
Or should
hold
it be,
a
I thought there was
public
discussion,
hearing.
John, is it supposed to be a hearing? When we have rate changes every year?
I can change the
I never
word
had
to
that since
hearing.
I've been on.
Huh?
Since I've been on, I don't remember really doing it.
Well, my point is, if we've already voted to accept these rates at town meeting, why are we having a meeting about it?
Well, you're not accepting the rates at town meeting, you're accepting the budget.
The
Budget.
And they did in it, in the informational page, I think you have it here, Peter, right here. On this page here, it's not an article, nobody's voting on this, and it does have the rates in here. But nobody votes on this.
Okay,
So I think what Debbie would like us to do is all take out informational meeting and say we'll hold a public hearing.
Well, we were gonna determine whether or not, John, whether we needed a hearing in our bylaws regarding rates.
I don't think so. There's never been anything in the bylaw for that. I think
So-
Judy Pickett looked at that.
Okay, so we don't need a hearing.
No. But this is a new, we can have a hearing.
Well, I thought the idea was to have a hearing before the town meeting, or a meeting before the town meeting.
I think that's what the selectmen are doing Monday night. And I
Right,
believe you and John are gonna be at that meeting.
yeah.
So,
Well,
We're all
what
there.
Monday night is to do?
We were gonna add
Yes.
it, well, go ahead.
Monday night is to bring the annual articles, go over them.
Yeah.
People are gonna attend and ask questions. What it's doing, like I just said before, it's gonna kinda help us than crowding in and be there 4 hours on a water budget. People got something to question, it'll be you, the superintendent, at the meeting, give answers, and it'll be out through the Comcast, it'll be out to the people to hear this. So now they understand what A would be, what it represents and whatever. Explain what the budget's about, how it's about, and all it is
Information.
informational, right. The actual meeting would be the week from Monday at town meeting. And, we got so many articles this year, we're trying to, cut down the time and, whatever, And getting back to the water rates, I'm pretty sure that you have to, I'm thinking this. When I was on the board of water commissioners, we had to hold a hearing on when you go up for the rates, Laura, to
I think you did it in
DEP.
your board. Yeah, you did it within.
I
the
Right.
remember
board.
doing it when we voted it here, but I don't remember ever having a.
Yeah, but you haven't had a big increase, so, Roy.
See, what
Yeah,
could
no,
hap-
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
since I've been in 4 years. I
No,
don't think we've
no.
done it.
See, what could happen is that at town meeting, we could have some modifications, and if we have modifications, that may impact our rate. So then we'd have to kind of go through that again.
That's right. If
That's
it,
Debbie's
So
thought.
is it a
If-
hearing, or is it an informational meeting after the town meeting?
yours would be you've got a post after the town meeting, which is the right thing
What
you
do you
should
call it?
do.
You call it an informational meeting or
A hearing,
hearing?
hearing on your rates.
Yeah, so.
Not informational, a hearing,
Yeah, so it's supposed to be a hearing, that's,
Okay, I can change that.
yeah.
but then the question was, do we have something in our bylaws or requirements with municipalities or water departments or DPW places to have a hearing after we set our budgets? Or do we have to have just an informational meeting? So you didn't look into that?
I've never seen that.
Okay.
I know, like, when we went from the 7 something up to the 11 thing, we never had a hearing on that. That was what, last year?
Well, we had a hearing when we discussed rates at our meeting when we talked about.
We discussed right at a meeting, but I mean, we didn't have
Well,
a,
we had a hearing with the plant and
Right.
was that a hearing or was that a meeting?
That was an informational meeting
Okay.
on the treatment plant.
All right. So I guess just double check before you put the ad in, whether we're gonna call this a hearing, an informational meeting, okay? And, okay, let's just do
We'll
it
bring
right.
it back again.
Okay.
Tim, we
See,
have
basically,
time.
Timmy, what this is doing, it's, first thing is the step, the big step, is you go to town meeting with budget,
Yep,
approved or disapproved. It's up to the people that are at the town meeting. They could go in there and say, we're gonna let the water department run 500,000, that's it. Say you were looking for 7, they cut it, it's a vote. They run it, you are the commission, like we're on the board of selectmen. Anyone could get up and cut an article, add to the article, or whatever, to do this. The first step is to get this budget presented and
okay,
approved at town meeting. then you're in,
Okay,
ready to roll.
okay, so just double check to see if it's a hearing or an informational meeting, okay? Going back to what we were talking about before, the change order.
You want me to go through this with you?
Yeah, if you could, please.
Hey, I mean, like when we made up the bids and all that kind of stuff, none of the stuff was ever added in?
No, I mean typically.
Why wasn't that added in, is what I'm saying, all of a sudden now it's coming back, more money, more money, more money.
There's, on construction projects, there's always change orders, I mean.
No, but I mean, like the exhaust fan, that should have already been in there.
Well,
now we got
that was
another one.
actually, the exhaust fan was something that Jason wanted added, so
Then we got
that's-
another one where we're putting a column in the entranceway, because the other one wasn't good enough. I mean,
So it's more than just a column, I can go through these in more detail. So I guess first I wanna start out by saying that I do have some concern with the procedure that's now set up on change orders. Because it's possible when we're in construction and we discover something in the field and we need a quick turnaround on an approval for a change order,
Yep.
it sounds like it's gonna probably take at least 2 weeks. So I don't know, you might wanna think about, and if that's the case, we'll end up extending the contractor schedule for 2 weeks if it's on the critical path and that kind of thing. So I don't know if you want to set up a certain amount, whether it's 5,000, 10,000, 1,000, whatever it might be, that would let John or Laura approve kind of an emergency change order, so it would be like a single item. I'm not asking you to do that right now, but you might want to consider it, because once we get more into the thick of construction, it might be necessary.
Okay.
And if you don't do it, it might mean we extend the contractor schedule, so. But the main item in here that is most important is item 4, which is the column and structural steel and appointments above the entry. So the column was there. Right now, all you have is basically an I-beam, and it doesn't have masonry around it. So we could leave it the way that would be, but there's more than that, just that. So at the entryway, there's kind of like, it's a vestibule without glass in it. So it protects you from the rain. It's a roof that basically protects you from the rain as you go to the entryway. And we changed some structural steel. So in the detail, you're actually getting credit for an I-beam that was going this way, and now we're sending it this way. So you're getting a credit for a piece of steel that was here, and you're paying for pieces of steel that are going like this. So that item is kind of a critical path item, and we would like to get approval on that as soon as possible. The contractor has basically given us a price for $17,000 to do this work. We don't believe it's actually worth that much money. We have been back and forth and he hasn't gotten back to us. We asked him to either reprice it or we would have him do it on a time and materials basis, because we think if we do it on time and materials, it'll be 12 to 13,000. So I guess the main point of this is to hopefully get your approval for up to 17,000 on this change order. If you want us to leave a column, there'll still be, you paid for a column, you just don't have masonry around it to make it look pretty. It's basically, you're gonna get an I-beam, I believe. So if you wanna do something like that, we'll have to go back to the contractor and ask him to price that scenario out.
I mean, we're up in the woods, I don't see why we gotta,
Well, I'm kind of confused at Barbara, is that you mentioned that there was like an overhang to come over. We're still talking about the same thing, is an overhang, so when you walk in the door, you don't get wet or something?
Right, if you want, I could
It's
dig
right
out the
there,
plans.
it's right there, Barbara, on the kind of.
Yeah, so you see that shadow and where the man is going into the doorway, that's the overhang.
I'm not
And-
sure, could you point it out, because I can,
Barbara, wasn't that figured in the
So you
total
paid,
construction though?
you paid for a column here, and you also paid for an I-beam that was going this way. We changed that so you have a column here and a column here. So you're getting a credit for the beam that was here, and you're adding pricing for basically the masonry to wrap around this I-beam.
You said there was a credit though.
Right.
But what do you,
The credit
Now-
is built into that price, so I could give you the detail of what the contractor put together, and you would see the credit for this column.
right. Well, that would be a deduction then, am I right?
Right, but in the overall scheme of doing this work,
You're
the
looking at
credit
addition,
is
but like
less.
you said, between like 12 and 17,000.
Right.
so in other words, could you say it might be a $25,000 change order, that since we're getting 2 beams, that we're not ordering up now, that it's back down to 17?
No, the credit you're getting, I think, is about $1,500,
Okay.
so.
And who wanted to do this?
This is recommended by us,
Okay.
so.
Excuse me, ma'am, are you saying to close in a steel beam, it could be up to $17,000?
It's not just closing in the steel beam, it's changing the design of that cantilever roof. So it's, like I said, it's changing a diagonal steel piece and putting in 2 perpendicular pieces that are shown there. Before, the piece was a diagonal structural steel piece. That's why we don't think, the contractor, I believe, put in more than 60 hours to do this work, and that's why we want him to do it on a time and materials basis, because we don't think it should take that long. So what I'm asking is for approval up to 17 to, in case it does actually take that long. I mean, you could tell us that you're only gonna approve 15,000 or something, if you want.
Yeah, I don't know if I think it's necessary.
Well, some of it
Keep rain
is
off.
necessary. Changing the structural steel in the roof is necessary for structural stability of that area.
Okay, but was it in the original?
Sandwiching in the column is not necessary.
Why do they
Was
change
this-
the original though?
Was this on the original design? It was put out to bid? Or is this like a change to keep rain off of people waiting to answer at the door? You know?
So this is basically, will help the structural ability of the building to make this change.
So why wasn't it structurally designed beforehand?
So when you go through the construction process and you get shop drawings, which is what the contractor sends to us to show us how he's constructing things, at that point there are issues that may appear where you didn't actually bid for that work, but additional work needs to be done. And that's pretty much the case on all these change orders, is it's additional work that needs to be done for the building.
But
And you
did
didn't pay for it in the original contract price, so it's not like, that equipment wasn't spec'd in the original contract price, so you're not paying for something twice.
I understand that line you're bringing up right now, but what I don't understand is when they design the plant and the plant starts getting constructed and the contractor's picking up on these things, now we're being asked to do a change order. Like I told you 2 weeks ago, we don't mind change orders that go in our favor, coming back. We don't like change orders that go up.
Well, unfortunately, there's some of both.
I know.
And if you want negative change orders, we can look at ways to do cheaper things in the plant, and we talked about that back in March of 2012.
But I was under the impression, Barbara, that we had a design for a plant that could be built according to that design, and then there would be no trouble. That's what I was under the impression.
There is no construction project where you have no change orders. I mean, average change orders on construction projects are 2 to 5% of the total cost of the project. There
Okay,
is
well-
no design that is perfect.
I can see the extra steel, there's gonna be for structure, but I don't think we have to wrap something all the way around it and come up with that kind of money.
Well, do we have to have that protrusion on the roof? Can we,
If we redesign that, there's gonna be a
there's gonna be more
really
cost?
because every time we go back to the structural steel company that's providing the steel, they charge us for a redesign fee to submit shop drawings, so that would be actually probably even more. I can give you this detail. This is the detail that we got on that change order. I only have one copy of it, so. So all of the other changes,
Let's start from the beginning. Let's just go
Oh,
1,
okay.
2, 3, 4.
Yeah,
Supply and install 200 cubic foot per minute exhaust fan and well number 2
it's
chemical feed
double-sided,
station.
so, yeah.
Let me do it.
Oh, did I might have given you two. This is 5, okay, this is the right one, that's entry column, yeah. Sorry. So, yes, I guess there was no ventilation in this part of the well 2 building, so Jason asked that it be added.
And why do we need it if we haven't had it before?
It's something he asked for,
So-
so if you don't want it, it might be too late to take this out. I would have to check with the contractor.
John, do you think we need an exhaust fan there? Is it well 2?
It's well too.
Okay. We're gonna be handling the chemicals
Yeah.
as much as we were before in that building, so we need an exhaust fan?
With hydroxide, which is pretty tough stuff.
And we don't have an exhaust fan there now.
There's a vent, but there's not a fan. But we're not using hydroxide. It's a much stronger chemical. Enhances ventilation.
So the hydroxide is, we were gonna minimize the chemicals because we're putting a new plant in. I'm trying to educate myself here.
Yeah.
So we got a new plant going in.
Yeah.
And we're still adding chemicals to the water,
Right.
but not as much. So the exhaust fan that we have there can't handle the less of a need for adding more chemicals in there?
There's no exhaust fan there now.
There's no exhaust fan.
No exhaust fan.
No, it's just a vent.
So is it
And
cost savings?
This is at well number 2.
Thanks.
Oh, well, too, okay. So is it cost savings to have them do it under that contract? Or is this something we should do?
I couldn't say that without getting some pricing.
It's not, the well's not even close to the treatment plant, well, too, right?
on April Street.
So-
We're talking about the treat and bill.
Yeah, so this is for well two, and right now you
Well, two is
have,
up near the Agawam Diner,
right, and
not
that
even close
doesn't
to the
go
treatment plant.
to the treatment plant.
But it's kind of, they're
We're
improving-
doing some work at
improvements,
well
Okay,
yeah.
I got a little confused.
Yeah,
So we still have to add chemicals to well two,
yeah,
because it doesn't even get treated, that water.
right.
Okay. Why did he ask Kinsman to put this into that mix?
Well, I think it's always wise to have an exhaust.
Right,
fan and
it's-
chemical.
Well, I'm
plan.
not disputing whether we should have an exhaust fan there or not, but why are we pulling in Kinsman into this thing that's not even on the particular building site?
So Kinsman is actually doing work at well two.
So they already are doing work at well too?
Yes.
Okay.
It's part of the contract. So do the chemical.
John, that's in the contract that they're doing work at 2?
Oh, yes,
What are they doing there?
we're changing from lime to hydroxide
So there's a change in,
in chemicals,
Mm-hmm.
why are we changing?
because it's,
Easier maintenance.
yeah, the limes, it's messy, it's dusty.
So the hydroxide, is it a liquid?
It's a liquid, yes.
So why do we need, what do you need, because it's vapors from the liquid?
Yeah,
Okay, so there's justification there?
yeah, you have that, and you also have chlorine in there too.
So when we were switching over from the powdered lime to the liquid hydroxide,
Right,
and we gave that information to Weston and Sampson,
yeah.
why didn't they come up with a ventilation fan? Was it a Jason thing or what?
I mean, I can check the code. I don't know if it's required by code. It's a nice thing to have. I can check that.
Let's
It might-
check the
it
code.
might actually
Let's
be
check the
code
code. Let's-
with a chlorine.
Let's check the code and see if we absolutely need that.
Oh, okay,
And
I can do
sometimes
that.
you need a outside ventilation actuation switch. If there's a leak in one of the chemical feed lines, can be vapors in the building.
I mean, I have no problem, it's a safety issue, but it's just,
Yeah.
you know, these 6 and 5 and 17,000, they're adding up pretty high here.
Yeah.
Okay, so is this gonna impact anybody's schedule?
No, this one will not.
Okay, all right, let's go to item number 2.
Okay, so item 2 and 3 are related both to the potassium permanganate system, which is in the treatment plant. The first item is for a floor-mounted control panel and for the electrical wiring to the dust collector. All the remaining change orders we haven't talked about are related to wiring up equipment that was not included in the original design. The equipment is shown and it's detailed that that's necessary, but because we have an electrical filed sub-bid, that was not bid out by the electrical subcontractor. So item 3 is for.
Well, no, let's
Okay.
stay with item 2 a little bit. Is this something that is supposed to be in the design for them to put pricing on?
The wiring to activate to the control panel and to the dust collector was not included in the design.
Okay. Why
So
not?
you didn't pay it. As I said, there's no design that is 100% perfect.
Okay.
Is this something by law we have to have, you know, in the
If-
floor and stuff?
If you
Electric
don't
code?
have this, I mean, it's basically bringing power to this feeder. It's not gonna work.
What I have a problem with, Bob, is why you know, do we put a feeder in there without power anyway?
Like I said,
Yeah,
all I can say is there's no design that catches everything, and this is one thing that was not caught. Which also means that you didn't pay for it in the original bid, because the wiring wasn't shown, so the electrical subcontractor didn't cost it out.
can Weston and Sampson get a discounted price on this for us? Because.
From us electrical subcontractor, no, we don't have, we can't get reduced pricing.
Okay, well, it didn't put a smile on my face. All right, so item number 3.
So this is the permanganate system again, and this is to wire the vibrator, the feeder, and the mixer motors. It's to wire the solenoid, to wire, bring instrumentation wiring for a hopper low-level signal, and instrumentation wiring to the mixing tank level probes.
Well, it sounds like, Jim, on this 2 and 3, we basically gotta have them, but we can hold off on 1 as far as I'm concerned.
Well,
To see if we have to have that.
well, you can't have a feeder there without a power.
Right. I mean,
And
I can see
still don't understand why.
2 and 3,
Let
but I think we should hold 1 and hold 4 myself.
Well, let me ask you this, did they get 3 quotes on these things?
That's not the system that has to be done with change orders. The
Okay.
system is they prepare a price, we look at it and review it, and we make a recommendation to you.
Okay, so we're on the hook.
And you think, like, the number 4
We
one is
think-
too high?
Number 4 we think is too high, that's why we're
What
recommending.
about 2 and 3?
2 and 3 are a little higher. The question is if you then, like, they might be maybe 5% higher than we think you might pay, but if we tell them to do it time and materials, then you're not protected. So we thought it was better to pay a little bit more and have them do it
What
for
do
a
you say
lump
with-
sum.
If you do it the other way, they can come in a lot higher?
Right, so if it takes them longer to do it, you're gonna pay that extra amount. So we think you're better off on item 2 and 3, you know, to maybe pay 5% more and protect yourself with a lump sum.
Well, this is pretty much wiring.
Right,
It's not just 5,400, I haven't gone down the whole list.
so
It's like
items
15,
2, 3,
16.
5, and 6 are all electric wiring. So that's 4 of the 6 items here.
That's a lot of wiring.
I know, we're not gonna be using that electrical, sub anymore, I can tell you that much. I know that doesn't mean much to you, but he's not getting our business anymore.
What's the process for going back to Kinsman and saying, hey, the commissioners aren't happy with the wiring pricing?
We can ask him to reprice it, I don't think we'll get anywhere on those. So, because when our in-house electrical guy reviewed it, he thought it was a pretty reasonable price. That's why we're recommending you do it with the lump sum and not a time and materials.
I know, but it's not, I'm not out there every day, Barbara. John Sikora is,
Mm-hmm.
and we got the plans, we give them out to bid, and things like this are showing up, things aren't even wired. You know, they're not even wired, they're not, you know, there's equipment in there that isn't even wired up.
Just those,
You know, I don't see, how things like that can fall through the cracks.
Just those three electrical things comes with 26,637.
I know it's. So. Maybe we ought to, maybe we ought to spend some time maybe down there and look at these drawings and see what specifically we're talking about as far as holding things up tonight. How fast we have to operate on these?
The only thing that is a critical path item is item 4, which is the column which you want to hold on.
I mean,
Let's
I
go,
can
wait,
see-
let me just, what do we do if we don't go for item 4? What happens there? Does the building fall down?
No, oh, you mean if you ultimately don't approve anything for that? Yeah, there's gonna be some structural problems with that part of the building.
The structure part I don't have a problem with, but I don't think we have to beautify it. I mean, it's out in the middle of nowhere.
Okay, we can
That's my
direct
feeling.
them
I don't know
to,
what yours.
What is that gonna save us, 500?
I don't know.
we can find out. I mean, I think it's gonna save you more than 500. If you look at that detailed estimate, I'm guessing it'll save you at least 3,000 or 4,000.
Okay, so the electrical stuff, where you added up was like 26,000?
I came up with, if we go, with it 2, 3, and, yeah, 2, 3, and 5. I come up with 26,637.
Well, I don't understand why we're splitting these costs up, you know, that's one thing, other thing, Barbara. So, if it's an electrical contractor coming in there, it's one electrical contractor. Why are we splitting it up to 3 different items on the same change order?
So
Yeah,
people
it's a
can
di-
understand what they are. I mean,
Detail.
that's just our typical way of doing it. We can jump them all together, but they price out individual items, and so we include those individual items in the change order, but we don't have to do it.
I mean, actually, one of them is for Station 2, the other one,
Everything else is a treatment plant.
The
Item
treatment
1
plant.
is station 2.
Yeah, so, I'd like to think on this, to be honest with you. I'd like to see an effort made to see if we can get some of this pricing better. Because when I start looking at it, when people look at this, they're gonna say it's splitting up the bill, make it look like it's more palatable, you know? Item 6, Mark,
This is wiring, or electrical wiring for the
More
overhead
wiring.
door. Yep,
so it's more than 26,000. What is
well, I didn't add 6, I'm just saying 2, 3, and 5.
So all electrical changes here are 5491, 10,000. That brings us up to 15,5. Then we get another one here,
looks like you're at about
26,
43,000.
42,637 for all the electrical.
43,000.
so 43,000 and change orders for wiring thing. Yeah, I'd like to be able to digest this proper.
Okay.
So we can put that on for the agenda for the next meeting, John? On these changes here, so when we have a change come up, does that go to the construction meeting, or does it go to our representative, well, would it be John or somebody being out there? Would they be bringing it up at that time, or?
They will either bring it up usually it comes up in a request for information. They'll ask for clarification on something, and that's when they might say, you know, we didn't see the wiring for this, can you clarify? And we'll say, you're right, give us a proposed change order for that.
Now, any of these 6 changes, is that gonna screw up, time-wise
The
stuff?
only thing that will have an impact on schedule right now is that item 4 with the column.
So, on the column thing again,
How about on the
if we
column?
don't do anything, what, is there a structural problem out there if we don't do anything?
We need to do some of that change, and I can figure out what of that $17,000 price is necessary to do. We don't need to, you know.
No, I mean, anything structural, I have no problem with that. But I just don't think we have to beautify something out there in the woods, middle of nowhere.
I'm fine with that, I can get them to reprice it.
Well, I'm with Roy, but I'm also wondering why we have a structural issue with a design like this.
Like I said, the design is not 100% perfect.
Can we ask Kinsman, or can you ask John to ask Kinsman to find out if there's maybe a more economical solution for the town
We
with
can,
this problem we have now?
yeah,
And then we'll revisit this again, either the next meeting, or, I don't want to impact the schedule that.
Well, that's what I mean, then we end up paying more anyway, you know? if we
Maybe.
Screw up the schedule.
Maybe.
So if the only one is number 4, if it's structural, all right, but I don't think we need to beautify it.
I mean, what you could do is you could tell me, you know, I'll give you approval for up to a certain amount of money, and,
We're shooting on the dark. You know.
okay, so we'll,
Can you get back to John by,
Yeah.
you know, the end of this week to see if there's an impact in the schedule, and see if they're willing to make the commissioners a little bit more,
You know, all we need is a 48-hour
Yeah.
notice, we can post another meeting for you after
Yeah.
anyway.
okay, that's what I'll do.
We should try to get it to the selectmen though this week, Barbara, is that gonna be the next problem?
Yeah,
Because if we don't make the Monday night.
There's some eyes rolling over there, and there's 2 of them here.
well, we got a couple of
Well, this
issues
is-
with
this
this thing,
is-
so it's gonna be, it's
Well,
not
I
gonna be
just
this
think
week.
the
We
structural
can-
part needs approval, I think is what Barbara's saying.
right, the only item in here that we need your time-sensitive approval on is this item 4. We don't have to issue the entire change order. If you tell me, item 4 of change order 5, we're giving you approval on, and then the Board of Selectmen say okay to that too. That's why this is draft, I wanted
What do you
to-
think we could use on that number 4? You said we could put a price thing on it. What do you think we could get away with?
I mean, if we don't do the masonry, I don't know,
I mean,
maybe
can we take,
play
can we
it
take
safe.
3 off, 6 off, you know what I'm saying?
Play it safe and say approval up to 12,000, I don't know, I mean,
I don't feel comfortable throwing a number out like that. I would rather, you know, we talk to them and say, look, we're, you know, we don't like change orders.
What's today, Tuesday?
Yeah.
We could have a quickie meeting Thursday or Friday, just to,
We could post tomorrow, Friday.
we get a quickie meeting, and by then she'd have some prices if you want to do something like that.
Well, can you get back to us to tell us what if there is an impact of the schedule, and then we can maybe post a meeting?
I can almost guarantee you there's an impact to the schedule based on what he told us when he gave us this pricing.
Okay. Why didn't we know it 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago?
I don't, well, he is being a bit unreasonable in asking us to turn around a proposed change order in an untimely fashion. Technically, I believe we have 30 days. So we can argue that, but we're starting to verge on that 30 days, that's all, so.
Okay. Well, we don't need
We got
it.
back to him on this item, we got him the information to cost it out in the middle of February, and he didn't
Okay,
get
so
us
you-
a pricing.
You
until-
had the request for
For him to
information
put together
back in
pricing.
January?
I'm not sure when that came in, I just know that we gave him our revisions that he then priced, well, we gave him our revisions in mid-February. And then he didn't give us a price proposal until last week or maybe the end of the week before.
Okay, so we're,
So where's the 30 days starting, last week?
Yeah, whenever he gave us the price proposal.
I mean, it's $66,000, and it seems like some of that stuff should have already been taken care of, spotted long before this.
we need more time to look at this.
That's fine, I brought this forward so you
We
can
don't
see
need to
what's
have, rush
going
to
on.
have a meeting this week
It's
either.
just item 4 that, you know, is starting to get time sensitive, so.
Okay, let's try to, get right on this.
Okay.
Everybody's working on it, except us, for the last 2 months. We need a little more time, Bob.
I mean, will you be able to find out by Friday first?
It kind of depends on the contractor, he's the one who's got to turn this around, so
Yeah.
we'll try to find out by Friday.
So they gave a request for information to Weston and Sampson through John Sikora. And then they went to you, and then they had you guys look at it, and okay, there is a problem here with the design. So then you redesigned it, and then you went back to the contractor, and he says, okay, I'm gonna put a price on this.
Mhm.
And so that process then comes to the board, and then we're at the last second here. And when's the drop dead date on this decision?
I don't know that for sure, I can
Okay.
get back to you on that.
All right.
But I'm guessing it's well, it's not drop dead, it's within a week or so.
I know, but, then we're talking about scheduling a more meeting on Thursday. I don't see how you can get back to us with information.
We may not be able to,
Right,
so
So,
I don't know if you can schedule a tentative meeting or if that's not acceptable.
maybe next week,
That's fine.
okay? And then we get the other issues there too with the electrical contractor, so we want to get some fine tuning, so to speak, with that, because I don't mind putting one change order for one contractor down. Is he gonna have 4 different contractors doing the electrical work? Or is he gonna have one guy to do all this work for that price, for $42,000? That's what I don't like about seeing these things. It looks like, you could put electrical work, item 1, fix the, send supply power to the feeders, okay? And then item number 2, let's wire up this, and 3, 4, and well, right down the line, wire up this and wire up that. It's all one contract, and maybe, I don't know.
It's all under the electrical file sub-bid.
Okay, so the electrical, there's one guy for one company that bid all the electrical work out there. And so it's his price. So now
Right.
he's got a change order thing. So Kinsman's got to go to him and say, not going downtown too quick. What can they do? I think that's, it would make everybody happy. We didn't question this. I don't want to rubber stamp things coming through here. Myself, my personal self. I want some, is this the last thing, or are we gonna be faced with these kind of things here right along?
You're gonna continue to have change orders throughout
Okay.
pretty much the entire project.
Okay, so we got a contract with the contractor that's building the plant. Typically, when these plants are built, whether it be a water treatment plant or a water sewer plant or a school or whatever, do they have a certain percentage that usually goes over the
2 to
change orders?
5%.
2 to 5? Okay. So we were going one direction, now we're gonna probably approach up to the bid price, but we're gonna probably go 2 to 5% over?
That's typical, yeah.
Okay. Can we do anything to try to get that down to?
We have some ideas of where we can,
Okay. That's what I think this would make this board happy.
okay.
Okay.
Barbara, could I just ask, being a member of the Board of Selectmen, in your feeling, is this gonna be a burden to the ratepayers, or we gotta go back to town meeting for more money?
We don't expect you're gonna have to go back. I
It'll be
mean,
with under the bid then?
right.
It should
Well,
be.
it won't be with under the bid, but we allotted 5 or 10% contingent, 5% contingency, so it will be within that.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
The only risk we run is that we might have a break next week.
Well, this one here does look bad. This one here.
Why was the plan
That one's
changed?
high.
Because if they changed
Kinda.
the plan, it would seem like the contractors are responsible for that,
Yeah,
you know, they
that one,
changed.
this,
They made, it seemed like they made the overhang a little bigger than it was originally.
I didn't want to go over pricing. I
So
just
the
wanted to go over
contractor
the
bids
concept.
on our
I
design,
just, there's one guy.
and if we need to change our design, they,
You know what I'm saying? This one.
they have the
I don't want to bring up
they
details. I
are
just wanna bring
allowed
up
to
the
charge us
concept.
more if it costs them
I don't
more
want to talk
to
about
build that
pricing
change.
on
But you said they made it bigger, you made the wings.
We need to have-
this part bigger,
let's
so
talk about it.
Wasn't probably.
So that you
because-
pay
I'm not
for
gonna- I don't
one
wanna decide on it
diagonal
tonight.
beam,
Okay, that's what I'm
and
saying.
then
I
put
don't
it off
want
for
to go over,
two.
you know.
It's a vote too.
Longer.
I mean, right now, I mean, we're using Daniel
I know, because they made it bigger
though.
though. They
It
made the
wasn't
overhang
bigger.
bigger.
That
They're looking
wasn't
for something
bigger.
Let's
more.
go over
So they make it-
the general concept.
It's the
Almost
same
behind.
size.
So they didn't estimate correctly what the.
What about this annual report? We
Beams and
we on to the next subject yet?
No, we put in a
She told me, get
diagonal,
a
We don't get the seasonal waiver thing.
and we
Yeah.
changed that to two
I want it for
perpendicular.
tomorrow.
Okay, so, let's, I make a motion that we lift the seasonal hiring freeze to get a seasonal labor. The seasonal labor starts, what, the end of June through September?
Yeah, well,
Is that what the,
beginning of June.
beginning of June?
Well,
Thanks, Barbara.
I mean, right now, we got Rob doing everything.
Yeah.
And we got somebody here to mow the grass.
I know, so we need to get this thing,
We
Out there
lost
and
Jerry, I
posted.
don't know if you heard about that.
so,
Oh,
Jerry.
yeah, well, he was only hired, Roy.
No, I mean, right now, I mean, we're four
Goodbye,
guys short
goodbye.
now.
Huh?
We're four guys short right now.
Well,
yeah,
how you guys coming on that? I mean,
It's downtown. We're waiting, you know. It was back in January when they did Marie's thing, and we haven't got nothing back on that yet either.
do they get applications there, Laura?
So this Thursday, we have 2 interviews for the administrative assistant, and we actually had 3, but one called me today and turned it down. So right now, there's 2 left of the 3.
Do they have licenses, Laura?
Oh, no, we're talking about the administrative position, and I believe right now there's 1, John, there's another, I think it's right there on your desk, there's 1 person for the secondary operator.
right.
And that person was gonna be the 29th, I believe. We don't even know. We haven't seen the resumes, but I think there's 1 person that we,
so all the resumes are going downtown to who?
to Debbie's, to the selectmen, to the personnel board. So Amy and Debbie and Doreen are working on it,
Okay,
and
and so they're.
I mean,
they're-
before, they used to come
I-
here,
we
and
don't
then
see them.
we did something, and all of a sudden now, they've taken that control away from them for some reason.
So they all go there.
Well,
So I
they're trying to
haven't-
help us out too, they're trying to screen these people to see if they have the qualifications. Then they send them over, because sometimes, like, how many applications put in for the administrative assistant?
I
wasn't
don't
there
know the
like-
total. There were a
Wasn't like
lot,
26 or something like
but
that?
so far, everybody's of the,
Yeah,
we're down now. We
to
have-
2.
We have 2 now, yeah. Every time we,
All right, so
we'll
then,
see.
what do how do we advertise the primary and the secondary
So
positions?
we talked a little bit about that. We haven't advertised it in New England Waterworks, I believe, John, right?
We can put it on that site. See if anything
Well, what do you
comes up.
guys think we ought to do? Because we need to get some candidates in here.
Yeah, well, I think it's a good start, because that's
Well,
an industry standard.
And we're gonna end
what
up
were you
with
waiting
Rob,
for?
we leave him by
What are you waiting
himself.
for? Are you waiting for us to put a board vote together, or?
No,
Okay, so let's get that thing going,
all right.
right? So the New England Water Works, you're gonna advertise on there, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And
Is there any other place? How about on the internet?
They charge, yeah.
Craigslist? How about
Yeah.
Craigslist? Monster Jobs?
Great.
Any other ideas, John?
Mass Waterworks.
So really, Laura, I haven't given, do you know, Stu, how many applications or if there is any?
No, I don't.
But I mean, it's costing us money every day, the
Exactly.
department, and Roy's got the right thing. When we were on here before, we took care of this, but I mean, now we're in a,
We're not taking care of it, Jack. We're supposed to be advertising in the Waterwell Journal, stuff like that. We're not taking care of it.
that's been 2 months, Tim.
Craigslist. People are looking for jobs all the time on Craigslist.
Yeah,
But I mean, we were told that they're taking care of the personal board, and we're not.
well, I could see like Tim saying, screen them, but I mean, every day's costing, you're paying,
We
what's the
we put two ads up. We put one on the bulletin down in the town hall. And what do we put the other one?
Well, there's one on the town's website.
And one on the town's website. How many viewers do we have on the town website?
I don't know.
Yeah, but the thing it is too, this is a
We're paying $80
important
an
job.
hour for somebody to come in and do something, we have somebody here doing it.
Agree with you. I mean, these are important jobs. You could stick it up on the bulletin board down there, but how many guys in Raleigh got a water treatment license?
How about a headhunter? You could probably give a headhunter, what? $1,000 and he'd find us some people.
Yeah.
On the seasonal labor, you made a motion to have that lifted from the selectmen, correct?
Yeah,
And I'll second that.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The annual quality report, did you make those changes in there?
Where are you going with that?
Oh, you're back on that, the CCR? Yep, so I added the number of testing to the actual testing we took, Tim.
Okay,
Some of the wording that you would like, DEP will not approve.
okay,
I'm sorry to say, they have told me this is the way it has to be written.
all right.
You like it or not, that's the way it is.
Does this need our vote, Laura?
Sure, I take all the votes I can get.
Okay, so we went through this, I went through, I had corrections. Laura then took that and then
Yeah.
followed up the DEP. Did you give this a copy to the DEP? Did they look at it?
They're gonna get I'm gonna hand deliver all these over to Melissa.
Okay, so
Probably
then,
tomorrow or Friday.
okay.
What is today, Tuesday,
So
Wednesday?
I make a motion that we accept this, and if the state has anything to comment on it, that we make those revisions
I'll second.
per the state's request, and just get it moved on,
Yep,
okay?
that's my plan.
That's the motion.
To hand
I'll
deliver
second
it. Yeah.
All in favor? Get the subcontractor thing.
Contract.
Subcontracted, what I would like to do is I would like to get several contractors either doing emergency work or working our time of need. We don't have a staff. I don't want just one.
Oh, no, I agree 100%. I'm just saying there's a couple there that,
We need
Out of
to
control.
get this thing formalized so we can say, okay, you call up this guy, this guy, this guy, or this guy, depending on, we need somebody out there tomorrow.
oh, I agree 100%.
One
Tim.
contractor would say, well, I got a job going, I can't get anybody over there, so it gives John the opportunity to go to contractor number 2. And incidentally, the order he calls will be flipped. Every time he has to have a need, he just flips it. So he gets everybody in a rotation, so it doesn't look like one contractor gets all the work. Okay, so,
No, I agree with that. It's just, there was one of them that I thought the prices were right out of control.
well, there's degrees of sophistication, I looked at it. So there's degrees of sophistication of what these guys can do. Some of these contractors have supplies. The guy in Peabody, he's only done, he told me the other day, I think, he's only done 350 water breaks in the last 2 years for the city of Peabody. Guy looks pretty experienced, and he's working in streets down in Peabody, and he can come up there and do it. So he should, you know, this M-Pro, you call up some of these guys on 4th of July weekend, they're all out in the boat on Plum Island somewhere. They're not gonna come. We got a water break going down the street. M-Pro will show up. You know, it just, you gotta have the horses to do it even if we can't do it. So how do you get from this list of contractors to get all these guys qualified so John can call up? And I don't know, you have to go downtown and talk to them people about that, right?
Yeah.
We need to have downtown help us with this.
Yep.
And so when you have a need, an emergency or something, you can call up on a rotational basis who's on first that particular day. And if that guy can't do it, then you can call the second guy.
Right.
Does that sound like a plan?
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, it's just, I'd like to look over some of these other prices, because I mean, some of them are right out of control.
Tim, how about, in the past, over the years, and you're still doing it, I think when you had that break, last week you had one Thursday night or Friday?
Yep.
You got the highway department can jump in and give you a hand.
Yeah, they said they would.
The protocol is, call up the street department. Can you guys help us? Do we have enough guys to do our own break? If you don't, then you gotta call in somebody.
Right.
But you just can't, you gotta call in, you gotta have a list of people. There might be something really big that we can't handle or whatever.
See, the thing is, right now, we
I
only
don't
got one
know.
guy.
You could.
We only got one guy. right?
No, I know it, but I mean, I'm saying, say if you had something come in tonight, Roy, and you called Ron,
Yep.
you're acting, I mean, well, he is your surveyor as of
I
today.
mean, we gotta have somebody like, Rob is gonna be somebody like that's gonna
Yeah,
be
but I
there for
mean, you
time.
can get an operator, you get a couple of guys that would jump in and help you in an emergency,
Right.
you know?
And if you couldn't get them, you could get somebody else. But
Yeah.
you got a list of people you can deal with, so you're not just picking up one guy.
Right.
And not mention names, you got a guy right in Raleigh, I mean, Stu used to do it, I don't know
Yeah.
how Stu handles it now with his son running the business, because it used to be around, Stu did it, your father did it, everyone, Tommy Warren, now you got the son, Dana Warren.
The thing
And there
is,
he is, you call Dana right now, I guarantee you, say, Dana, we need you in an hour. I'm just talking,
Yeah, I know.
I know the kind of guy Dana is, am I right, John?
Absolutely.
I'm just saying.
He'd be here in an hour,
Yeah,
I'm
you
saying,
would.
yeah.
you know, and he brings help.
They all would. Highburn would be there. These other
I
guys.
know we had a situation right up next to when Neil Purley had the garage here. We had a big break on a Friday. A couple of his men were gone. Called Dana, they worked, and it was like on Memorial Day night on a weekend. 3 guys showed right up there, you know.
Yeah, but on the
And they got
4th
the
of July
job done.
weekend, Jack.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. They're out fishing, or they're in down the beach, or
I mean, by rights, we
So
gotta
you
have
know
one of our guys
damn,
to
you know
go.
damn well that
Well, hoping you
Enpro's
walk,
gonna
right?
show up,
yeah,
you know? Because that,
who?
Enpro, up the street.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I mean, it's gonna cost
they're
you
gonna
400
stop, they're gonna be helping us stop the leak.
Yeah.
Because nobody else will show up.
Agree.
So,
But you get the right idea, you set up what you wanna
Rotation.
do.
Rotation.
Yeah, you know,
but then you gotta qualify these guys. So, I mean, I don't wanna just say, go ahead and do this.
Yeah.
I want you to get, this is my idea.
Yeah.
Get somebody involved downtown to see how we can do this. Without, you got a budget, Laura, to handle this stuff, type stuff? You've already gone through that.
So we
Why
will,
is that paid out of?
we will next year.
Yeah.
This year, you know, it's coming out of our maintenance line, as you know. So we did contact 6 contractors who did give us all these quotes, and we need to procure it. Right now, we're working under emergency procurement, which
Okay.
legally we're allowed to do. But, you know, John, you'll follow up with Debbie, because we'll go out and procure it. Other towns, what they do is they'll procure emergency water breaks, go out on the central registry and get a 3-year contract. And whoever that person is gonna get it for 3 years. You won't call 6 people and rotate it. Whoever gets the lowest bid is gonna get the contract.
Yeah.
That's how it's done. We never had to do that before. We've never been in, I don't
No,
think you've been in this situation.
Something could happen tonight, so. we
We'll
need-
work, you know, we've been working on the staffing since February.
Yep.
Okay, so, you know, we'll have to do it. I mean, the water break, everybody chipped in. It was an 8-hour water break. We were out for 8 hours. Okay, we knew about it, you know, at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We stopped, you know, we held it out for overnight, so we didn't have to go out that night. We started at 7 o'clock in the morning, we didn't get back until 3 o'clock. It was a big break. We had to replace that whole pipe. Once we opened it up and realized that it was pipe that needed to be replaced, the whole thing had to come out. So, it ended up being bigger than we thought.
What, so there was a water service put to a house that you had to replace under the road? Now, how did you get the pipe to go through? Did you just pull it through from one point to another point?
If you can get a cable through, tie the new pipe onto the other end and pull it through.
Yeah.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You just
So
gotta-
do you
Yeah,
tie
lucky.
on to use the old pipe as a cable thing, or what?
Well, you run the cable through it, and use it as a coil.
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
And it goes to a steel piece on the other side that you attach the new pipe
Yeah.
to. And then sometimes they move, sometimes they don't.
So how do you pull it, with the backhoe?
Yeah.
Okay. So, good job.
Got
Saved the street. Now,
Got lucky on that one, yeah.
So we also have for the paving, which is another situation, we're trying to get 3 quotes to fix the paving that was done on Martin Luther King at the highway department. I only got one guy to call me back. And John, you have that on your desk. I mean, I've been trying to get these people to call
I
me.
mentioned something to John tonight.
So this is another situation
But I think we should-
where,
yeah, but doesn't the highway department deal with paving
No.
for the streets?
definitely not.
Why can't they?
We asked them, they don't.
Why
The
can't
thing
they?
is, like I mentioned to John tonight before we came to the meeting, like when we have these guys come in and do a patch, you know, like when they do a water break that we had a few weeks ago and stuff, why can't, because we're paying the top dollar for the mix, plus they're paying the tax. Why can't that be charged to us when they pick it up, and right on the slip it would be for water break at such and such, picked up by so-and-so? We're saving some money there. I mean, some of these prices for this hot top is getting ridiculous.
I haven't seen the hot top bill come in charging us tax, John, but,
Yeah, but they're just putting the price down.
oh,
Yeah,
I see what you're saying. They're building it into their cost.
In other words, if you or I go and get a load of mix, we have to pay the
I
tax.
could follow, I mean, this is.
If
not-
it's charged to
Towns
the
exempt.
water department,
Towns exempt from tax.
exactly. But
Yeah.
when they go and get it,
Yeah, but you know, you're
and
seeing,
they're adding it on, I mean,
they'll say it was me or anyone, they'll say, fix the patch at 40 Central Street, $800, period. That's, you don't know how much mix they put.
that's why,
Could be a ton.
that's why
And
last
that
year
ton
we
represents $56
told our
a
contractor we
ton.
wanted the ton price, the ton
You know, but
amounts.
we're in the business of distributing water, not fixing streets. You know, it would seem to me that the highway surveyor or the highway department should take it after we put the dirt on or the packed material on, and then take care of the actual paving of that street to assure that that street is safe and street-worthy at that point, instead of us doing the paving. And then if they want to give us a bill for that, but they just supervise the paving, that's what I think we should do.
Well, it might be a good point, Tim. You're gonna have to cover it, it's like your gas mains,
Yeah,
anyone that goes in there. They
So
have to, the gas company come, the day of that, say they put a service into my yard or yours, across the road.
yeah.
That'll get done that night or the afternoon. Gas company are really tickly on coming back, and they hire Marini there from Swampscott.
Yeah.
They got a contract with them,
Yeah.
you know, but they do,
Why can't the
every
street
day they're
department
doing
do
it,
this?
everywhere
Why
from
can't the street
Salem
department?
to Newburyport or, yeah. Well, you get a good point, but you're
Why
gonna,
can't the street department do this?
We asked them about the patch, they didn't, told us to get it fixed.
Yeah, but if they're maintaining and assuring the streets are safe in Raleigh, why can't they take care of that to make sure, you know, I don't know.
So typically, Tim, was what my experience in a couple of water breaks I've seen is, we actually will go out and grade the road and you know,
Yeah,
rock
compact.
it, and then they would come in and just patch it. But since we're short-staffed, the bill that we got here to do the highway department, Rob can't grade it. So they have to hire somebody to grade the road. Maybe the highway department could grade it for us and then we would patch it. I don't know, John, I
Does
didn't.
the highway department do any paving at all?
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
Do
Okay.
they have a
There you
machine?
go.
They have a machine?
Maybe we ought to get Ron come in one of our next meetings and see if, you know, we can discuss some of that stuff.
Just-
you know, see, you got a point there too, Roy, but, see, he has to run a budget too. So he has to come in and do yours, that
Give us the
bangs
bill.
his.
No, but
But that's what I'm
is-
saying,
Give us the
yeah, if he's agreeable to
And
put
then we're
his
sure that
guys.
it's done to
Yeah.
Ron's satisfaction.
Right, right,
Instead, we're just waiting for
Yeah.
some contractor to mess it up and oh, there's a pothole there. Why didn't you guys do it properly before? Because we came across this, you said there was a price for paving and,
Well, the patch that we got for the highway department is $500. It's a big hole over there that we haven't fixed yet, we need to fix.
what's that, Laura?
We had that break on Martin Luther King Day over on Independent.
Oh, yeah,
Was-
okay.
But now we're in this procurement thing, we're trying to get, people don't, this group of people don't call you back. That's what I'll tell you that right now. And the guy that does call you, you want to give him the job. So, what can I do, you know? They couldn't patch because the roads weren't open. So we had to wait for that. And now the roads are open, so.
You mean the mix plants?
Plants
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
the plants
So
were
we were
open.
waiting for that,
Right.
you know.
Yeah, because they don't really start till,
April.
yeah.
Yeah, so
April.
right now,
Some
we
are open
we
the
have
last
two
week of March,
patches. We have to
yeah.
get Railroad Ave fixed too.
Right.
I think Roy's got the idea, maybe get Ron to come in, I mean, he's willing to do a lot of things, you know, to help us, and
No,
Part
I've
of the
seen some of
town.
the prices for a ton and a half patch.
it's gonna save you a lot of money, Roy,
I know it is.
you know. Ton and a half
Well,
a
we
patch
came
gonna
up-
be under $100,
we came across this.
and you
I'll
can
tell you,
do,
that ain't what we've been
and you can
paying.
do 3 or 4 trenches.
Actually, when you gentlemen get a couple of helpers, you can do your own water breaks unless it's a huge one. You have the backhoe, you have a
Yeah,
dump truck.
But right now, all we have is
Well, I
rock.
didn't say right now, I said when you get a couple of helpers.
I got a pair of camp shoes up the house for Laura so she can camp in the hot tub.
You heard about me falling all over the place.
So I guess the
Yeah,
real I know.
question
question is whether or not, I think I would feel more comfortable if we went downtown and say, we got a list of contractors, can we use these guys on an emergency basis? And what do we have to do that? Without, you know what I mean?
The big thing would be, yes, Tim, you got a break right now and you got one guy,
I know.
what do? It's emergency.
Well, we get two guys.
You, well,
Wow, right.
one.
We call in Paul,
Who?
guy from Weston and Sampson.
Oh,
We
All
got
right, you have Rob and you have John, you have 3.
Third, and John too. How many guys do we need on a typical water break? And then we got the guy, well, Ron usually gives us a truck with a driver. So we got 4 guys. How many guys do we need?
Yeah, you need 3 or 4 anyway, move stuff around.
Probably just 3, right?
Oh, yeah, at least.
You got an operator with a backhoe.
Yeah.
Then you got a truck driver to haul the dirt away to some location and get the wet dirt out of it.
Truck driver, laborer, and a laborer. So
And
that's
a
3.
laborer. And then you don't want anybody in the hole unless they got somebody above.
Right.
If it's a shallow hole, if it's a deep hole, then you gotta run back here and get a trench box. Then you need a cop. For street.
Right.
But do we need a cop at every instance, or can we get away without a cop?
Usually they make that call.
If it's on a side street that doesn't have any traffic, they make the call?
Well, it's public safety.
Okay.
Well, this one too, you know, it was by the railroad, so we thought we would have a lot of traffic, and it was in the middle of the road. So,
Okay.
we needed to have some help down there.
I can't think of anything. I second it.
Okay,
Aye. Thank you very much.